Chapter number 8 in Tehillim gives us a very powerful message. Go down to Pasuk number 14. Yecharsemena chazir meya'ar veziz shada yir'ena. The boar of the forest ravages it, and the crow of the fields feed on it. Who is this chazir, this boar that the Pasuk of Tehillim is talking about? So the Midrash explains in Bereshit Rabbah that this chazir is Esav, who flashes his split hooves like a pig, pretending to be a kosher animal, while he's still lacking the other necessary requirement of a kosher animal, and that's chewing its cud. This is the typical behavior of our worst enemy, who acts like he's righteous and innocent, but he's really not. How does Esav have such a power that for 2,000 years after the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, and he's still able to stick out his feet and saying this is a pig's feet in the world, and saying that he's the chosen nation? The answer, Rabbi Spiro tells us in the book Touched by the Tehillim, has an amazing and wonderful answer. The answer is highlighted in the middle letter, the letter Ain. That's the center of the Tehillim. The Midrash tells us that Esav shed 3 tears, as it says in the Pasuk. He'echaltem lechem dim'ah v'tashkemo bidma'ot shalish. This is, it says in the same chapter number 80, Pasuk number 6. You fed them bread of tears, you made them drink tears in great measure. The word shalish is translated in great measure, but it also comes from the shoresh shalosh. Shalosh means 3. Over here we're referring to Esav's 3 tears, which were shed when he did not receive the blessings from Yitzchak. The first tear came in his right eye. Since Esav loved hunting and desperately really wanted to serve his father the food he had prepared, and Yaakov went before him, this is the tear that Esav shed in his right eye. So it was a sincere tear. This tear was a good tear for Esav, and he got a lot of credit for that tear. The second tear was on his left eye, because he lost the materialistic benefit of the blessing of his father Yitzchak. This tear was a selfish tear. The third tear that we're talking about in the Pasuk, it was never a completed tear, and it did not come out completely. And this one was a totally selfish one, because over here Esav was angry that Yaakov ended up taking his blessing, so he did not receive them. So that tear was not a completely tear that was shed. It stayed inside his eye. So the Tehilot Maharitz explains that Esav's first tear carried a great value in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This was something pure and sincere in Esav's one tear. This tear has kept Esav and his legacy, his negative legacy, we could say, alive for 2,000 years. And this is the power of one sincere teardrop from Esav. We can begin to understand the power of a sincere tear from every single one of you. Every single Jewish person's tear is treasured so much from what we can learn from one tear from Esav. The letter Ayin is showing us here about the tears. Let me tell you a story that happened about 250 years ago, probably more. This story brings from the author that it's called the Sefer HaYashan. Very old book, Sefer Yashan Me'od. There was a story that happened against the Jewish people in France, and there was pogroms against them in almost every single town in the French city. But one town was spared. In that village lived a very simple Jew who was not a big Talmid Chacham, and he was not even capable of learning Gemara or Chumash. One day, after many good years that he had, he passed away. What did this person do? This person read Tehillim. And within 30 days of his passing, he came into a dream to a great Chacham of Airport, a city nearby. And he was wearing his clothes that they buried with him. And the Chacham tells him in a dream, how come you're coming to me in a dream? What happened? Didn't you just pass away? So the old man answered him. He said, I gave you permission to come to you in a dream because I want to warn you that the people of the village are in great danger and everybody should run away and save themselves. And they gave him permission from Shamaim and gave him this permission. And he was holding a Sefer Tehillim in his hand. This person in a dream said, as long as I was alive, I completed Sefer Tehillim every single week with feeling and sincerity. For many years, it protected my village, the village where I lived, in peace. But now, they have no longer protection now that he's not alive. So the Chacham woke up and immediately sent messengers to that town where the man lived. And a lot of people took him seriously and they were able to escape. And a lot of people didn't listen to him and they had bitter end. This is the power of Tehillim, said with feeling and sincerity. This is the Tehillim of David HaMelech. So when you feel like crying and having a tear, just think from Esav that what kind of a man he was. And he had one sincere tear, one of them. And how much reward he got for 2,000 years. He was able to have his reward. Be'ezrat Hashem, may we all merit the coming of the Mashiach, berachamim rabim, without any suffering. Amen.